Good morning, everyone. We are Seven Hills Homes, and we are excited to present to you Pine Brook, located in La Plata, Maryland. La Plata is a historically small town in Charles County, Maryland, but it holds an optimal geographic position for the development of Pine Brook and its future residents. It is less than an hour outside of Washington, D.C. and other major cities, and fewer than 60 miles from 3 major airports, evident from the map above. Its geographic position is further supported by its direct access to US 301, the primary route into Washington, D.C. This access to a major transportation highway is important for the residents of Charles County, who currently hold the second highest average commute time at 43 minutes one way. Lastly, in terms of amenities, La Plata prides itself on its small town feel, with locally owned businesses making up the vast majority of shopping and dining experiences. For the residents, there are also countless opportunities for outdoor adventures at one of the town's 7 recreational parks. In terms of demographics, the population in La Plata has grown around 16% over the past 10 years and now sits at 10,404. With this population growth comes the expectation for future job growth, which is currently expected to be 37% over the next 10 years, just slightly higher than the national average at 33%. Major employers in Charles County include the Naval Support Facility, as well as the Charles County Government and Charles County School District. Another important demographic is the trend in La Plata to own a home as opposed to renting. 69% of La Plata residents currently own a home. This trend to buy instead of rent is important for the development of Pine Brook and its future success. I will now hand it over to Truman, who will continue with our target market.
Thank you, Gwyneth. So as she touched on, we wanted to make sure that we knew exactly who we were selling to, and so what we did is identify 3 main demographics. The first is families. Families really want to grow up in a safe community, make sure they have a safe community for their kids, make sure that the school districts are good, and Maryland school districts are in the top 20%, La Plata school districts are in the top 20% in the state of Maryland. Next, we have millennials and Gen Z. They are probably fresh out of college, maybe on their first or second job, and looking to get financially stable, and we think that our townhomes would be a great option for them. Finally, we have seniors who would like to live close to their family and maybe build community with other seniors. We feel that our single-family homes might be great for them, but also this transitions well into our housing supply, as La Plata offers a fantastic mix of single-family homes, townhomes, and retirement communities so that seniors can enjoy. As you can see, we are currently in a seller's market with an absorption rate of roughly 20.5%, but that has been decreasing as demand has been falling over the last few years. So that's something that we want to keep in mind when we are selling our homes. Next, we have as you can see, there have been a 30% increase in home prices over the last year, mostly due to inflation and a stagnant housing supply. And this means that the average home is becoming much more unaffordable for the average American. Finally, our current median sales price in La Plata is $533,000, or $534,000 roughly, which comes out to about $209 per square foot. Moving into our average developments. So these numbers up here are the averages for the 4 closest developments to Pine Brook, both in La Plata and surrounding cities. This comes at a base price of $408,000. The square footage is 2,240, which comes out to roughly $223 per square foot. I'm now going to pass it off to Alex, who's going to touch on land development.
Thank you, Truman. Our land development team has identified 3 key elements emphasized by the City of La Plata, those being inclusivity, community, and stewardship, all of which we have included in our site design. So when looking at the site design, you can see that we feature extensive pedestrian walkways, thus linking the community. Additionally, we offer a host of affordable housing options as well as a diverse housing options, accommodating many. Additionally, we host several amenities such as garden, live-work districts, playgrounds, as well as playgrounds. We also promote a sustainable development by way of utilizing low-impact stormwater management systems, as well as a natural landscape design, both helping the existing environment as well as wetlands and streams. So In terms of phasing, we will consist of 7 phases, all of which starting in the north, primarily focusing on more affordable options given the current economic climate that we're experiencing. We will finish in the south with more of our higher end products with the expected uptick in the economy. So in summary, we will consist of 563 total home sites with a total land development cost of $29 million in a project build out of roughly 14 years. And with that, I will leave it to Jessica to discuss our diverse product offerings.
Thank you, Alex. So Pine Brook offers 4 sorted styles of homes and 6 separate floor plans. All of our homes will be fitted with sustainable appliances and finishes, and our homes were designed with the market analysis previously presented in mind, as well as created to fit the community layout that was presented by Alex earlier. So let's dive into our home designs. Starting with the older here, this is a single-story cottage with around 1,316 square feet of livable space. This quaint home is perfect for those looking for accessibility, ease of maintenance, and the starting value will be around $236,000. Now moving into the Sycamore, this is going to be a single-story duplex-style home where each unit is around 2,430 square feet. And this is perfect for those looking for ease of maintenance. And then the starting value will be around $386,000. And then we have 2 different options for townhomes. We're going to start with the Elm here. The Elm is a 2-story traditional style townhome with a square footage of around 2,130 square feet. It does have a first floor owner suite as well, and then the base value will be around $346,000. Now our next townhome is going to be the Evergreen. This actually has 2 options within it, 2 floor plan options. So as you can see here, one of them will have a deck on the 3rd floor, while the second option has a deck on the 2nd floor. This basically maximizes privacy while still providing an outdoor feature for each resident. And then each unit will be around 2,482 square feet and a starting value of around $436,000. Now, our last style is going to be single-family detached homes. This penultimate one right here is going to be the Willow. The Willow also has an optional 4th bedroom as well as optional basement. It is around 2,439 square feet and then has an affordable starting value of around $421,000. Now, our final home design is going to be the Chesapeake here. This also has an optional basement. This is perfect for those looking to have a larger entertaining space. It does boast 2,771 square feet and then has a base value of around $476,000. Now that we have revealed our home designs, Michael will now talk about Pine Brook's construction management.
Thank you, Jessica. So here in this breakdown, we have the price per square footage of each home, along with the construction cost to build and the duration of days that each home will take. Each size and quality of each home are both reflective of the budget and a schedule for each home. Moving into project management. So our team will focus on constraints that we may encounter during our development. Those constraints being price inflations. We want to enter in purchase agreements early on before construction begins. Schedule delays, we want to incorporate lead times and continuously update the construction schedule during construction. And then lastly, we want to build strong partnerships with our vendors and contractors in order to maintain steady productivity during our development phase. So now with that being in mind, I will now, Ben will wrap things up with sales and financial analysis.
Thanks, Michael. So we have an offering of amazing homes in a sustainable community, but how are we going to tell and eventually sell that to our future residents? Our sales and marketing strategies is going to be led by our sales team as seen by above. And they're really going to want to focus on that mixed use neighborhood that we're offering. We have 6 full-time employees in addition to our departmental intern. Those employees will be supported by a 1% annual raise in addition to their 3.5% commission for our in-house sales team. The sales team will start and be based out of a sales trailer located right at the western entrance of the neighborhood for this first phase of development. And with the completion of the commercial district and at the end of phase 1, we'll transition that team to take a more permanent office until the end of the project in one of 4 key commercial units offered there. That brings us into our commercial district. We really feel that a commercial district can provide our residents with their necessities, leisure opportunities, and a true place to build community, somewhere where they would go. Within that 16-block unit, 8 of those will be offered as live-work units, with 5 of them being for sale, and 3 of them being leased and managed internally by our sales and marketing team. That's really just to have access to controlling our tenant mix. Those rents will be at $1,400 a month and will operate under triple net lease terms to keep our sales and marketing team to not have too much operational management in that realm. And each of those units will have $200,000 allocated to them in unit improvements. So we have all this information, and how are we going to distribute that? That is going to be done through 3 core ways, utilizing both digital media and traditional strategies. We really want to drive our social media presence to engage with potential residents and our community, as well as provide an informational website that can drive sales. And then finally, an investment into VR renderings, where we can create an exciting, detailed, and informative look into our homes, as well as our overall community. So what does all of this lead to? It leads to a bunch of sales, and we have some financial assumptions, being that it is a 200-acre site being offered for $6 million at $30,000 per acre. Under our underwriting, that leaves us with an unlevered return of 27.79%. And like I said, that is an unlevered return because as a national home builder, Seven Hills Homes is fortunate enough to have enough equity to provide for a peak equity investment of $11.94 million in August of 2023. Under these assumptions, we have a sales pace of 3.5 homes per month, which comes in at an average base sales price of $386,000 per home with $171 per square foot. Each of those homes, there is an assumed $10,000 in premiums and options revenue, with those options having an assumed cost of 80%. Additionally, not mentioned here, but there our HOA has an annual fee of $450. This fits competitively into the surrounding neighborhood's offerings, and that fee will be allocated towards the management and landscaping of our common areas, in addition to working with our marketing and sales team to provide a slew of neighborhood programming activities. So when we look at the key performance indicators of the project, we really want to take a look at our accrual of $227.1 million in net sales revenues. And after our direct sales costs, that's going to leave us with net receipts of $189 million. And when we look at all of our expenditures, I will say that figure is wrong compared to your all's proposal there, but we will have $148 million in net expenditures. That's going to leave us with a profit of $36.3 million, which again leaves us with that 27.79% return, with the average home having a net profit of 28%. But we didn't want to just stop there. We need to understand our sensitivity to certain market risks. That being said, we conducted a sensitivity analysis on 4 key development factors. We conducted a 5% both positive and negative change. And what we saw is that we face significantly more risk in direct construction cost volatility, as well as changes in our base sales prices. While our base sales scenario is helpful, we also need to understand other sales scenarios that might happen. One being our optimistic scenario, where we observed how our model would react to 5 home sales per month, and that's going to expedite our project completion to December of 2034, so 2 years earlier, and really send us off with an attractive return of 41.20%. However, much more likely is decreasing our home sales per month in our conservative scenario to 3 home sales. That'll delay our project by a year, yet still provide us with a relatively attractive return of 21.94%. While we intend to sell all homes and construct them ourselves, there are some alternative sales and exit strategies that we consider. including integrating a rent-to-own model on some of our cottages or multifamily products to explore more affordable options. We could sell off our multifamily product blocks that we had located to more established multifamily developers or asset managers. And then finally, we could hire a third-party property manager to manage the multifamily products on behalf of Seven Hills Homes to provide for an income stream for Seven Hills Homes. And with that in mind, we'd like to thank you for your time and open up the floor for input and any questions you guys may have.
All right. Thank you guys. Good presentation. I liked the use of the visual aids, although it did make me a little dizzy to be flying around the house that fast, but it was really cool. I liked it. So there was one concern that I had with the product design. When you have a 2,400 square foot single family townhome that costs more than a single family detached that's approximately the same size, how do you intend on being able to make sure that that product segmentation is still different enough to not cannibalize the sales of the other?
So if I'm understanding correctly, you're talking about the first option out there, the single-family, single-story home, and how that compares to things like the Willow, which is a two-story home, and how that compares in terms of price. So one thing we were considering is the placement of these homes. So when we showed the whole community, there are advantages to having things closer to your amenities, towards the commercial district. And then there's also advantages if people want more privacy, and that is why, in case they want more privacy and they would like a larger home, but still like have the ability to have the sense of community, we can see how like that can be an advantage as well. So that's how it's really allowing for our potential home buyers to let us know like what they prefer, and then they're able to afford either one based off of those preferences because they each have their advantages.
Okay. I would say in general that buyers do lean towards having a preference to have a detached home. So that overlap in pricing and being able to get a single family detached for less. And it's interesting to be able to have that lifestyle play, but I would just caution about maybe trying to be able to find a way to maybe differentiate those two a little bit more, so that way there's not so much overlap in that product segmentation. The other piece that I wanted to be able to talk about was I didn't see anything on sustainability in the packet, and just wanted to see if that was something that was considered.
I mean, Jessica and I both worked on the site. I worked on the site design, Jessica working on the product design, and we implemented both terms of sustainability on both. So it'd probably be under the land development would be have its own sustainability section,
Okay.
and product design. That's just how we thought it would work out better and be less confusing in a way.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Sorry again for that. The site design is really cool. It really looks like a planning design manual. But I'll ask from a builder's perspective, did you look at, or what was the thought behind how you broke the units up or placed the units within the subdivision?
Can you be a little more specific in what you're, how I decided to break up those units? And
Yeah, it's very integrated. You have like a bunch of the cottages, the townhouses, singles,
Right.
are all intermixed within the
Right,
same
and
sections.
In some ways, the way that design was built out was, I kind of took it and implemented, there's that main amenity area in the center, right? And I figured that would be the most accessible for everyone to be able to come to, and put more of the denser options there because it's that convenience factor and people are more willing to go to those. But like you say, the way it's split up with all the products, again, is kind of achieving that diversity in the housing. So I can answer more questions.
That's good. I thought that's really well thought out, and I figured it was because it looks like there was a lot of time spent on it. I think it was also interesting the way you discussed the live work. Again, you talk about something planners love to put on a piece of paper, and that is the live work. A lot of times they're difficult, or at least we found them difficult to implement, and I thought you gave some real thought to the strategy of how to utilize those and how to bring them forward, so I thought that was really worthwhile. I want to come work for you. So you're paying 3.5 3.5% commission to your internal agents and 3.5% to the outside agent. Can you tell us how that, or how you think that matches up to market right now?
So within our model, we actually have 2% commission for outside realtors.
Okay, maybe I'm misreading it then. So that,
Is that what the,
Yeah.
Excuse me, it is 3%, our model reflects that.
Okay.
That is just what we decided to implement into our model.
Okay.
And it's to incentivize both our internal sales team to sell as many homes as possible without working as many external deals.
sure. No, I appreciate it. We all need our sales folks right now, so internal and external, so they'd be incentivized.
Pay him well. All right, great job. Question on lot premiums. It's noted in here, they will therefore be determined on a case-by-case basis. What does that mean?
Yeah, so especially when we come to different sales and we go to those different phases, we feel it best that the sales team would help in determining those prices. Because a lot of premiums are kind of determined on a case-by-case basis. You might be able to say, hey, we're expecting this to be a certain price, and we can say, hey, it's a corner lot, or it's in a more closer to an amenities in an aspect. You could give it the pricing by that, but again, it kind of varies when you go from section to section or phase to phase. It can change. Premiums can always change. But we do have detailed out in our site design. There are areas where we're suggesting premiums be built in, kind of where, again, those privacies or proximity to amenities, those are lined out, but again, those are subject to change, the pricing at least.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but I don't think you should hide those. I think you should be forthright in whatever the lot premiums are.
Yeah.
And then if you need to discount them or, do something to, kind of lower the price, then that's better, right? At the end of the day, the buyer feels a lot better about that position rather than something sneaking up on them.
Mm-hmm.
And then questioning in the marketing budget, and this may be noted somewhere else, but it looks like in video and photography from 2026 to 2034, there's zero investment. So through that time, you don't have any dollars for photography or restaging a house or updating the videos on the internet. There just seems to be blanked. Was that intentional, or is that are you transitioning your marketing strategy away from video and photography at that point?
The goal would be to be basing off of those original renderings with our sales team providing for more the continual updating of our sales, or of our marketing material. And we have access to cell phones at this point in time that provide just enough, features and highlight our community just as well.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that even in your risk, you're right, you're going to want to reposition it, or you might want to have a little bit of a budget amount in there to, shoot a new model, right? You come up with a new plan or new townhome or new something, just have a little bit of money in there, always to, be able to reposition yourself in the market. Awesome. Great job.
Great presentation. I am sorry about your Bengals yesterday. I was rooting for them. That was stolen from them. My question is cycle time. It looks like your Gantt chart, well done, right sequencing of events. And just have a question of the timing. We have a single family home is 99 days, and you go up to 118. What thought process was put into this, not just the sequencing of events, but how long would it take to frame a smaller house compared to a larger house, and how did you come up with those numbers?
So it was basically during like my quantity takeoffs, seeing how much material varies between each model home, and then seeing how much more time we would need to incorporate versus the larger models that we have versus our smaller. So that's kind of what I went off with in terms of the duration of days of how long it would take to complete each build.
Okay, pretty good. And one other comment too, I liked that in the incentive section, it briefly mentions giving an incentive to internal employees and construction employees. What do you picture that looks like? How much do you give, and why did you decide to put that in there? You're the only group that had that in their presentation. I like it.
Well, I think to the construction management side of things, it's going to support high quality work and will further incentivize harder work, but it's showing that we care about our community and the work that we do. As far as financially accounting for that, we pre-sale strategy, our workers incentive, as well as our negotiations into a 10% buyer incentive. So that's kind of bundled into 10% of total.
Yeah, if you can get your employees living in your neighborhood, they really buy in. It's a great idea. Well done.
Family-based community and just centered around that. And so having families that really want to be there, that take pride in being there, is pretty hard about.
Good answers. Thank you.
Great job, team. I want to give you props on your project management section, the staffing protocol that you have in terms of your field manager, things like that. It's very residential driven, very kind of not commercial setup, which we see sometimes. So props on that. I do have a question on your early bird discounts where you mentioned that you're offering 10% off of base house. How many homes are you going to offer that 10% discount off of base house?
That's just on 20.
Okay, 20 homes. So I was just curious because, you know, even in your conservative estimate, you have a 5% reduction in base, which will return, you know, quite a lower IRR. So I just didn't know how long you're wanting to go out with that 10% discount from base. And one last question I had, when it comes to, it looks like you're starting 38 production homes prior to starting your model. Is this a spec strategy community where you're starting the homes before selling them? And if so, is the city authorizing you to build them early, because it looks like you're starting to build before the completion of phase 1 horizontal construction?
Within our financial model?
Correct.
No, I would have to reference that.
Got it. Okay. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Great job.